Hello everybody, my name is Tony and we're going to do an instructional video on how our brand new SX3300 multi-channel facial system operates. So this is going to be a basic operational function on the machine. We're going to show basically a few things like how it turns on and a couple different things. So this switch right here, as soon as you plug it in to the back of the machine, it'll come on like an amber color. So it'll normally stay on an amber. That means it's a ready state. It's off, but it means it's ready to turn on. So when you turn the machine on, it'll turn blue and it'll calibrate itself here. Okay, so once the machine is on, you can now select your program. Here's your program selector right here. Okay, so you have a couple different programs to go through, which is really neat. You have manual programs and auto mode programs, which is really neat. The auto mode programs automatically sequences different signals and frequencies for that particular program, and I'm going to get into that. We're going to first start off with the nano channel and the pico programs. The pico and the nano are your refinement programs, which means it's your wrinkle reduction, fine lines removal program. So the nano program goes a little bit deeper into the dermis, and the pico program is a little bit more superficial on the dermis. So it depends on your client's skin type which program, or just use both of them, during the session. Spend a little time on pico, spend a little time on nano if you want to help with refinement for wrinkles. Okay, your next program after your refined programs would be the tone. Tone's a really neat program because it helps with a little bit of lifting and it also helps with refinement. It's kind of in the middle. Okay, so that's a great program to use when you want to get more resilience, when you get more tone on the skin and more tightening. So the tone program is a really good program that kind of combines both the building program and the refinement programs all in one. Okay, and then you got your manual ion lift. Now, the reason why we call it ion lift because it also does product penetration and it also does lifting. That's one of your more powerful lifting programs for face lifting. So when you put it on ion lift, and that's going to be your lifting program. Okay, so now let me go through the auto mode programs. Now you got your sculpt. The sculpt is going to auto sequence three different signals over and over again through, I think it's a 9 or 10 minute period. What you're going to do is in order to activate it, you have to press it down, hold it down until it turns blue. Now it's going to run for 9 minutes. Okay, so it's going to be it's going to alternate 6 different times during that 9-minute session to give you a really nice sculpting effect by alternating many different kinds of signals during that session. Okay, so this would be your wrinkle refinement program. You turn it off by hitting it once and it'll go light blue, and that means it's off. So now I could switch it to the build program. Now your build program, your auto build, is a great program because it automatically sequences several different lifting signals throughout the session. Same thing. To activate each of the programs, you push the button, hold it down until it turns blue. Now the program's running, and it's going to run again for 9 minutes, alternate 6 signals during that 9-minute session to give you your client's best result based upon their skin type, because it's going to alternate different signals, which is really great. So the auto programs we find was one of the Pico Wave's best features. So we added that to our multi-channel 3300. Okay, so those are your programs. I just tap it once and it goes off. All right. So that's how you select the programs, and that's what each of the programs do. So now I am going to show you how we can use some of the probes. Okay. Okay, right here we have plugged in our single infinity probes, which I like these probes because these probes can be used for more pinpoint focal areas of the skin or the face. Okay, and this you're going to learn the movements in the protocol videos which follow on our platform. You can follow that. But I just want to show you how they work. They plug in right here. Channel 1 would be here, or you can plug it into channel 2 here, depending on what ports are available, what you're using them for. All right, so we're just going to use channel 1 for right now. Really neat. And the way this works is you select your program. Okay, let's just try with the Pico programs. I'm going to turn it on. Now it's on, right? And then I'm going to set my level. Well, what's a very good feature about this machine is it has a skin impedance built-in computer into the system. So what that means is each of your clients have different skin types, right? So depending on their skin density, the machine is going to automatically sense that and make sure that you're outputting the right level. So we have these impedance light on this new machine. So when you touch the probes onto the face, they will come on when the impedance is correct, and that means it's at a good level. So right now I have it at 0. I can go to 100. They don't come on because I don't have it on the skin. So once I put it on the skin, I'm going to turn it up until the lights come on. That means that's going to be the proper level. So I'm turning it on here, here, here. So for me, it works at about 36. So that's my level. That's my optimal level to be when I'm doing a treatment, because that shows that my skin impedance is going to be getting the most amount of current delivery when that light comes on. So when I take it off my face, the light will go off. When I put it back on, it'll go on. So if I'm touching it on the skin and the lights don't come on, that means I don't have enough gel, or it's just not enough conduction. So you might want to check to make sure you're using a good skin conductor. Okay, so that light works pretty neat. So when I do have enough gel and enough lubricant on the skin, the light will come on at 34 for me. When I drop it down, that means I need to go a little higher until the light comes on in order for it to work. Anyway, that's a really neat feature. So this light's for channel 1. If I plug it on this side, then that means it's indicating for channel 2. Same thing. It'll come on. There we go. Pretty neat feature. Okay. That works really well. Another good feature of it is, say you want to test to make sure your probes are working, and this is great. You want to make sure that the wires or everything has got a good conduction, right? You say, oh, I don't feel it, I don't think it's working. When you touch the probes together and the light comes on, that means your probes are working, your machine's working, and everything's fine. Okay? And you can do the same thing by checking the other channel. Really neat feature. So this will help you determine if your probes and everything are working, okay? So it's very neat. So I love this feature. So you could do it with any program too. It'll sense the skin. Say I want to put it on the build program. Same thing. Turn it on. So as soon as I set the level for me, let's see. Okay, so I have to go up to about 50. There we go. 50 is my level to make it work on my skin on the build. So every program's different. Okay? So that's how the impedance sensor works. All right? Pretty neat. Single dual switches here is pretty... I want to explain that feature because, everyone's been asking about it. The single dual only works when we have the Pico probes. And basically when I get the Pico probes out, I'm going to go over that function for you. Okay? So right now, I just wanted to show you the single probes. Pretty neat. Okay? All right. So now I'm going to bring out the Pico probes for you. Okay, this is neat. Now, everyone's been asking, why don't we add the Pico probes to the Pico Wave? Well, guess what? The SX3300 now has it. The reason why the Pico Wave doesn't have the Pico probes is because it's single channel. This is a multi-channel system. And what the channeling means is it's giving you more delivery of the signal to more skin surface area. So that's kind of how neat our signature pico probes work. So they're pretty neat. Again, you can check your probes to make sure they're working. And this is awesome because now we connect the red and the black to the machine, and we got 4 prongs on each side. So each has a signal being delivered to each prong. So we can test that. So when I turn the machine on, we can check the first channel, light comes on. See, that means we got conduction. We can check the next channel by hitting the second probe, the light comes on, you can see, on channel 2. Same thing with the third and the fourth. Okay? So it's very easy to check your probes to make sure everything's working if you think it's not working. I love this feature. I'm glad this machine has it. And it's awesome at the pre-production sale price that we have for you. This machine works the same way. When you set the settings, and say I put the probes on my skin, you know, it's not going to work until it reaches the right intensity level, because that means that's the right setting for my skin. So we'll set it up, turn it on, and when I touch it on the skin, bam. So now we're at a good setting. You see, so the lights come on. So, you know, again, you have to have the right amount of gel. Once I put it on my skin, if I don't have enough gel on my skin, it's not going to work. It's not going to deliver the right amount of current because don't have enough conduction. So the light will come on. You turn it to the level when it comes on, and then when it does come on, that means that's a good setting for your client. It's awesome to have the skin impedance analysis built right into the machine. You can buy these computers for your salon, but they can be very expensive. You can pay up into the thousands for a skin composition analyzer. We have one built right in. It's a great deal. All right. So let me explain how the single dual switch works. Okay. These are your intensity level switches. Again, you want to turn them up to the point when the light comes on. So that tells you that you're at the right level. Okay. So when the light comes on, that's how the intensities work. Okay. So we can learn that also in the training videos for the protocols. So single dual. Single dual means in dual mode, you have to have both probes on the skin for it to function. One is positive, one is negative. When you have it in single mode, this only works with the pico probes. That means each probe is independent. Now I could use one probe on the face because positive, negative. So it's a complete circuit. So you can use one probe on one side of the face, the other probe on the other side, because they're independent from each other. That's the single dual switch. So if you have any questions on that, you can call me. But I like to use it in dual. That's your most powerful program, where you're running both probes on the skin at the same time. In the single mode, I can run one probe on one side of the face and the other probe on the other side. That's dual separation. So that's how that works. All right? Pretty neat. Okay? Okay. So now I am showing you, you have other options and other ports on here. Say you wanted to connect the gloves and use the gloves. It's really neat. You can plug the gloves into channel 1 or channel 2. It doesn't matter where you plug it in. A really neat feature, when you put the gloves on the skin, once you set the level to where it needs to be, the light will come on, and you know it's working. This is another great way to test your gloves to make sure they're working. As everyone says, I don't know if my gloves are working. Are they working? Touch them together. That means it's working. I like to touch them on the fingertips because that's what we use a lot of, right? So you can see when the light comes on. If the light doesn't come on when you touch them, then that means that the gloves have worn out. You got to buy a new pair. Okay. So a really interesting thing too is, you know, you can also plug the probes in at the same time. You know, if you're using the gloves or the face pads. This is the quad cable. So say you wanted to use face pads or clip to an alligator mask, not an alligator clips to an enzyme mask. You can do that with this, okay? And then you can connect the probes also to it if you wanted to. But the funny thing is, look what I just did. I left the gloves on top of each other, lights on. That's a mistake. Oh, that's why it's not working, because they're shorted out. So that's another thing the lights can tell you. Really neat feature, okay? And then you can also connect this with some alligator clips to a peptide mask, and then, you know, do it that way. Plug the probes into another port here, you know, and you can use the gloves, the probes, the alligator clips. There's a lot of things you can do when, you know, you have so many different options for output ports. Okay, it's pretty neat. All right, so that's a function of how we plug in the gloves and how we use the quad cable. All right, I'm going to show you how to use the photon probe. Pretty neat. You know, you plug it in to this black port here, okay, because the probe is going to be considered black when you're using it with microcurrent. There's an on switch here on the bottom, turns it on. You can sequence through the different LEDs, and this is your sonic. You can feel a little vibration there. That's your sonic selector for low and high settings. So you can have the sonic going, and you can have the LED going at the same time. But if you want to use the microcurrent, okay, it's very important that you complete the electrical circuit. So you're going to need to connect the red to either a body pad and put it onto the client's body, and then you could use the microcurrent by selecting the microcurrent on the machine, and it'll run through. You can set your settings, and of course the light will come on when you have it on the skin and the microcurrent's working. That will indicate that it is on. Okay, so when I put the pad on the skin, there we go. So then I push the probe on me, and now I know it's working, you see? And now you have to have the red patch on the body, and then you can put the probe on the face. I take it off, the light goes off, and that's how you can tell your microcurrent's working on your sonic probe. Okay? Or you don't have to use a pad. You can connect the single infinity probe to the red port on here, right? And then you can have them hold the probe, and then you can still complete the circuit that way. Okay, so the probe is negative, and the sonic probe is negative, and the infinity probe would be positive, completing the circuit, and the light would come on. Okay, so let's try that and see how that works. See, there we go. So the sonic probe has to be in dual mode. It won't work in single. It must be in dual. Remember that in order for the sonic. So you can see and you can test that the microcurrent's working. All right. If it's in single mode, it's not going to work. In dual mode, your client can hold it, put it on the skin, and it comes on. Take it off the skin, it goes off, and you can see it's working. Pretty neat. I love those indicator lights and the impedance meter. It's a great tool. Now, if you notice, you have dual ports, one for channel 1, channel 2 for the secondary channel, and you can have the client hold a probe and use the sonic when you're doing a treatment. Then you can set it down and maybe plug another set of infinity probes here, so it just makes it for you to work faster. So this is why we have multiple ports like this for you, so you can be more efficient in the treatment room. Okay, pretty neat. All right, so just another reminder too, that when you plug onto this side of the machine, the infinity probes here is going to work off this impedance circuit. If you plug anything on this side of the machine, it's going to work off this impedance light. When you plug in the pico probes, just remember they work off of all the channels here, both sides, okay? Just remember that when you're setting the setting, what you do on this side, you want to do on this side for it to work, okay? That's the pico probes. Other than that, I'll turn the intensities back down to 0. It's going to stay in dual mode. Turn it off on the program, and then this turns the machine off. Now it's off. This is okay to stay on, but the machine is off because it says off. So this really concludes the instructional video on how your machine functions and operates. If you have any questions, you can call us anytime. Thank you.